Welcome back, members. Today we are going back to school, and we decided to make this our first behind the scenes for you folks because everybody that's on this section of our channel is here because they compete in sim work sports. Well, today we're going to give you a little bit behind the scene for a team out of Tennessee that is here for certification. Primarily what they do is they provide safety for the schools. And when we're talking about schools, there's a whole plethora of things that these dogs are searching for, not just the standard drugs. So today, what we did is we set up 3 rooms, 1 blank, and the hallway with lockers. This team is here, and their dogs will alert and find everything from the standard marijuana, cocaine, meth, heroin. But additionally, they added firearms, so black powder, smokeless powder, alcohol, and then prescription drugs. So when these teams come into schools, they can sweep the school, and within a matter of a few hours, they can say, hey, here's what we found, or we didn't find anything, giving you the ultimate peace of mind for your child. Oddly enough, with today's society is that companies are actually marketing more towards children. You'll notice here, this looks like something you just get right off of the shelf in a standard store. And I think in Tennessee, they said this actually comes off the shelf. 600 milligrams of THC, it's gummy worms. And some of these that they're confiscating, they don't even change the names. It'll say Skittles, it'll say Trolleys. I mean, it looks just like the real thing. So, we have to be careful what our children are out there, grandchildren are out there eating. So, teams like this help provide the ultimate peace of mind when we send our kids to public school. So, thought this would be something that you would enjoy. Hopefully you like this. If you like this, we'll do some more. But it gives you just kind of a little in-depth behind the scenes on what professional teams are out there doing. So I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine. If you come down and train with us, he's always around. He's a deputy in this county, Deputy Gossett. He's here today helping us, helping assist the community for very specific reasons. I'm going to let him get into a little bit more detail on why these companies are so important.
One of the reasons those companies are so important, they do a lot of the things that law enforcement doesn't do. Typical law enforcement dog is a single-purpose dog, which is narcotics, or you have a dual-purpose dog, which is also apprehension, along with article searches, tracking, and detection work. Most of our detection centers around the 4 basic drugs, which is your marijuana, cocaine, meth, and heroin, or any derivatives of those. However, these companies that we're working with today, they focus a lot on firearms, along with prescription drugs, because in the schools, pills are heavy. And so they focus a lot on prescription drugs as well. And that's kind of some of the main differences between this private company like this compared to law enforcement. Now, law enforcement does have, some agencies do have bomb dogs, or explosive dogs as they call them, that can detect firearms, but there's very few of those around. Most of your law enforcement dogs, again, center around the 4 basic dopes and the derivatives, as well as, of course, tracking, article searches, and building searches, along with apprehension.
I'm going to take you on a quick tour of the school. This is going to be the first part of the certification standard. This room actually has 1 hide in and 1 distractionary odor. We put black powder over here in this cabinet. And then my favorite, we'll go back here. You've heard me talk about law enforcement agencies. You've heard me talk about cat food, because so many times they set out evidence baggies. The evidence baggies are where the drugs are actually in when we're doing the searches. Very few agencies take the time to put out blank evidence bags. So, I've talked to you guys about always putting out odors that you're proofing off of, distractionary odors. We've talked about in the past where, you're competing in scent work sports. They're hanging these things up with tape. They're hanging these things up with putty. Same thing for the cops, folks. A lot of the times the stuff they're training with are in evidence bags, but they're not putting out blank evidence bags. And this one, we just loaded one up with cat food and an evidence bag to just make sure that they're constantly proofing off these odors. So it's very important. We know how great a dog's nose is. Every time they get rewarded on that, whether it's marijuana, cocaine, meth, whatever, they're also getting rewarded on the odor of that plastic. So you want to set out the plastic, just like your magnetic stash boxes. If they have a magnet in it, you want to put out a blank metal magnet box. Okay, so we've got one in here, and then obviously the dogs are going to come in here and to the 2 bathrooms. The 2 bathrooms are blank. So, typical elementary school bathroom, I guess. and into the hallway. It's actually kind of nice that everything's in chaos. And there will be 2 hides in lockers.
Actually, we got 3 hides in this room.
Third hide will be in the desk. Those 4 hides, right? 2 in locker, no, 1 in lockers, 3. Yeah. Locker number 77 will have prescription medication. Once again, you'll see our magnetic stash boxes that we love and we do sell. So, and then a hide down here. We didn't go in this room. You can cut that. We went in this other room, didn't we?
Well, you got the hide in here.
What other room we going to? Was this one?
306 and 309.
Same school. I'm getting lost. This used to be Miss Miser's math class. Where we put the shit?
We've got in the bottom of the napkin boxes, we've got the gummy worms. And in the cabinet back here,
Just alcohol.
is a bottle of alcohol.
right, so we're on the vehicle portion of the day, and we just came out here to the county garage where some of the stuff's impounded. And we always use this old Ford truck because it's just fun. Like, who doesn't like antique fire trucks and searching? So we'll come over here and show you where one of the hides are. Like I said, little fun hide. All right, so we're wrapping up a certification day. We just gave you brief clips of, behind the scenes, kind of wanted you to see what happens. We always end at the end of the day with a little debrief. That way the guys can know what they can improve on, from handler skills to whatever. I'm going to actually allow Deputy Gossett to do that part. That way because you guys are going to get to know him, you're going to see him a lot more on the channel. So I'm going to turn it over to Gossett. And before we leave, we'll thank the InterQuest guys because they do a wonderful service for our community.
So we'll start with you, okay? One of the things with your dog, you got a fast-paced dog, kind of like mine. Very gung-ho. You're going to have to be a little quicker. And if you can be a little quicker, as you saw what we were doing around the cars there, it keeps them more focused, keeps them more on the car. And as the searches go on, then you will be able to slow it down. He'll start slowing down a little bit, you'll be able to slow down. But by keeping him in front of you, you're able to keep your eye on the dog the whole time. And if he goes by you, shorten that leash and you bring him where he's got to come back in front of you. And your eyes never leave your dog. When we was at the school, there was a couple times when we were going down the hallway. That very first time there on the left, you remember it was kind of in the back? A couple different times your dog done it spun. He was trying to go back to that odor. You never saw it because that's just the natural form that he's kind of developed. Is spinning. Another little thing, when you go into a room, scan the room, kind of get an idea. But I did notice that when you were going through the room, you wasn't watching your dog. You were looking, okay, I want to search here, so I'm taking search here. And even when you had your dog come search, you would glance at him, but then you're looking for, okay, what do I want to search next? And yeah, you want to scan the room to see if you see anything obvious, but the idea is developing the dog to where he's doing his searching and you're watching that dog. If he skips an area, okay, you're going to make that middle note. We're going to go back and I'm going to detail that area. And that allows your dog to work in a more free flow for him. And instead of him getting in something and you pull him off because you've done focused on this and he's over here trying to take you here, but you're focused here. So if you get into more of a habit where you're paying attention and we're really watching your dog, like I said, same way with cars. On the street, we get 2 passes. The first pass, I'll let the dog do his thing. Now, if I see him kind of wander off, I'll bring him back to where he last checked and then get him started and refocused and let him go back and search that area. The second time around is where things that I saw, body movements of his, that I want him to check a little bit. Now, a free air sniff for us, we're not allowed to touch the car. Dog touches it, we can't control that. Because if he's working an odor, but I can't go up and I can't touch that car, and I don't want to. When I do my search on the lead with my dog, he's between me and the car, and I'm letting him do his thing. If I see him go below by an area, I'll go, hey, check, bring him back. So that's where I want you to really start trying to concentrate, is watching my dog. Follow my dog, switching hands with the lead instead of following the dog in the turn, or doing this right here and never watching what he's doing. Because he might go over here, and that one time in the hallway, you tried to go to over. You pull him right back to where you wanted to check. Outside of that, I think you got a pretty good looking dog. I would get some markers, get some glue, start putting those out. I believe it was you was telling me that you talked to a bomb tech, and there's something about it in some of the new markers that there's possibly some type of powder and real resemblance to gunpowder or something. We're going to do a little more research and see if we can figure out what exactly that is. But like I said, if your dog hits in an area, of course, you're always going to see it. If you know he's kind of hitting on markers, and especially if we can really confirm that this is going on, then we'll know to kind of adjust training. That way we can actually, like I was telling you, do a verbal reward. When he hit the alcohol, oh, good boy, come on. Because he's not really wrong, because y'all dogs are trained on alcohol. So when they're hitting hand sanitizer that's loaded with alcohol, you don't want to teach him that that's not right, because then he's going to start fading away from alcohol. But that's not the reward. That's not what you're exactly looking for. So just a simple, good boy, come on, fine, and go on. Any questions? I mean, what you're feeling about today? How do you?
I've learned a lot more about what I'm doing wrong today than I have all of you. And know now where I need to start focusing more. Let him do his job. And not be so focused on, I want you to search right here. And let him come along.
Yeah. The ideal is really to develop the dogs where they're very independently searching. And we're just, as they say, the dummy at the end of the road. Because they're the ones that's got the nose for it. We do not.